Okay, good. So Acrobat Pro, what the heck does it do? The short answer is it does a lot of stuff. It's, as I started learning this years ago, I was amazed. And whoever named this chose well because it does so many different things, and that way it's very acrobatic. It's been around, of course, for many years, Acrobat, the idea, but now it's the DC or document cloud. We'll get into that in a sec. First off, quick background here. Typically, if you're going to open a file or generally speaking, a document, an actual word processing doc, spreadsheets, an image, or whatever, you have to have the program that created it to open it. Well, that means you have to spend money, most likely, to buy the program. But if you just need to see it, maybe you don't have to do a whole lot of work with it. Yeah, so that's really overkill. And so back in the early 90s, actually 1991, the Adobe co-founder created a project called Camelot, which eventually became Acrobat. And so that what it does here is that it will allow you to open the Acrobat Reader itself allows you to open a document without having the original program there. Acrobat Pro will create that document for you. It recognizes a very wide range of document types. We usually recognize or refer to those by the file extension, part to the right of the period in the file name here. So you have pretty much everything in Microsoft Office, PostScript, image files, a wide variety of those to be opened and saved as a PDF, portable document format. That's what PDF stands for. As long as you have Acrobat Reader, which is free, you can open PDF documents created in Acrobat Pro or in any other program. There's some out there now that create PDFs. So starting back early 90s, that was genius for Adobe. When I first thought about Reader being free back in the early 90s, I said, well, why are they giving it away? But you have to pay for the version that creates it. So, hey, it's a win-win situation. They earn money to pay the programmer salaries, to make a profit, etc., to build and maintain both versions of the application here. So here, brief overview of the different flavors of it. There are, for the version, well, there's Standard and Pro Acrobat. Those are very similar. There's a couple of small differences in the details of what they can do. Just go to Acrobat or go to Adobe and just start searching is the shortest thing there, because all of these things that I have up here, they'll both do. And I have the Pro version. I've never even seen Standard, honestly, for that. So that's for the creation. You can create and modify PDFs from pretty much any source. Create fillable forms. We'll be doing that. Add security of different types to the documents. Have digital signatures and a lot more. Within the Acrobat Reader, again, that's a free version. You can open PDFs from email attachments, from online sites and so forth. You can add comments. You can digitally sign. You can add to fillable forms created by Acrobat Pro. You can save them and so forth. They do have some additional services that you could do in Reader that are subscription, a couple dollars a month or so. Again, see the Adobe, acrobat.adobe website for details. DC, Document Cloud. Once you have a PDF created, where's it going to live? Who needs to access it? So you could store it obviously on your computer, up in Google Drive, on your LAN server at work, whatever. Also, Adobe itself has a cloud service available. You may have heard of Creative Cloud. That the Acrobat Pro is part of that. So if you have a subscription to Creative Cloud, it's included. Now, Creative Cloud is about 15 or 20, I've lost count, programs that are graphic designers and other creative professions will use. Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, Lightroom, and on and on and on. Those are included in what's called the Creative Cloud. It's about roughly $50 a month, very generally for a full Creative Cloud subscription. That will include this Acrobat Pro. And part of Creative Cloud is individuals will get 20 gigabytes of storage up on the Adobe Cloud web servers. It's secure and so forth. If you work as part of a team, yes, there's lots of ways where you can share documents on and on. That's getting a little bit outside scope of this talk right now, but just be aware that that's the thing with the cloud. There's that for different purposes. They just set up kind of, I guess, for marketing in a way. There's the Creative Cloud, again, all the creative apps. You have 20 gigabytes free and automatic with that. If you do not have a subscription to the cloud, you can. I was just looking. It says the document cloud only. That will give you 5 gig up there. The one thing you must have is an Adobe ID, and that is free. It's just if you want any of the subscription services, that of course is where you have to pay. And here, as far as what's the cost, down at the bottom, because I know folks are always interested in that if they're new to this. If you're not in the Creative Cloud, the Acrobat Pro is $14.99 a month. There's, I think, standard is about $2 less. There is a perpetual license. In other words, you can outright buy the license to Acrobat Pro if you don't like the idea of an ongoing subscription. That's several $100s. I don't recall exactly how much, but that's called a perpetual license. You don't have as many of the full cloud features available with the perpetual license. That it depends on your needs. So with that. Okay. These are just a few of the things which you can do in the cloud. And then as far as if you have contracts, legal documents and such, which require signatures, maybe you have a contract that's has to be touched, reviewed, and signed by people in multiple departments in your organization. You can use the Adobe Sign application for that. So again, it's saved up in the cloud. You can actually track the workflow. Who has seen it? Have they signed off on it? Are you waiting on them? Etc., etc. Lots of possibilities with that. So that's where the track workflow and so forth comes into play. There's, again, plenty of details on the Adobe website for that one. Different types of signature authentication as well. There's sometimes, if it's just a very, what word am I looking for? Not a real crucial contract, but and so forth. You can be really just a real simple signing. Otherwise, that you can have different types of authority. They call the certificate authority, the public PK, technology of public-private keys, and so on and so forth. With all of that, again, tons of information up there with that. And so here, also for mobile, because we're a very mobile society these days. These are for your mobile, both iPhone and Android apps they have available. There's Reader, so you can pull, if a document is in the cloud and you're away from the office, can't get to it elsewhere, you can always pull it up on your mobile phone using the Reader. Also, they have the fill and sign. Then there's, if you need to fill out and sign a doc from a smartphone, Adobe Sign itself, that's where you can get the various e-signatures. That one does require the e-signature service, which is a subscription based. And then finally, you have this document here, and you need to send it to somebody else. Well, you can use Adobe Scan. There's another app that you can put on your smartphone. So you can scan it, clean it up, save it to the cloud, and share it with them. Done. Yeah, you take a picture, exactly. I've done that before. I did not bring it today because of time constraints, but I have a tablet at home. I installed that, and it worked great.
Oh, the Adobe Sign is the only one that you would need additional subscription?
If you're yes, for this one, and it's more the services that you're using with them. So that's where you could yeah, for the e-signature, which is
securely saving them up on the cloud. Right?
Oh no, well, you don't need the additional subscription or service for that. It's just there's the saving it up in the cloud is one thing, but then if you're going to have a lot of, let's say, legally required signatures that are verified, authenticated, and so forth, that's where you can, well, that additional one will come into play. That was, okay, here we go, Adobe Sign.
So that's more of a security feature.
Yeah, it's more for security and such.
And that's the one you pay additional for.
Yes. So for here, just briefly here. Okay, so that's a little bit more at what level and such.
But that's not part of the cloud, obviously. There's additional into the cloud.
It's into the cloud, yeah. You need the cloud to use this, yeah.
Right, but if you have to pay additional for it.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, correct. That is separate from, that's a separate service and feature and priced separately. Okay, so here, starting from the beginning with this is that one thing that to me makes Acrobat Professional unique is that it doesn't create something brand new. You have to start with something somewhere, be it a Word doc, a spreadsheet, a graphic, something. You have to start with something. Then it goes from there. You can create it as PDF, but you can't create a PDF out of absolutely nothing. It just doesn't work that way. That's one thing that to me is unique about Acrobat with that one. So here, there are, oh, actually, let me pull that back. There's a number of ways that you can create a PDF. And this is one of the things that I was, oh, wow, cool, when I first realized this, all of those. Yeah, we can create it from a file, convert a Word doc or a spreadsheet to a file. Sure, we'll do that. You can create from a scanner, absolutely, or a web page, even from the clipboard. I'll show you. I'll copy some content onto a clipboard here in a minute, and then we'll create a PDF. If you have existing PDFs, you can you can combine them into a PDF, and there's two versions of that, which is up there. It's a single or multiple PDF files, things like that. Oh, I'm sorry, there's actually the portfolio or combined. Those are two together here. Can create fillable forms and do stuff with that, which we'll do as well here. But let's get started with, I'll just come back here. So here, I'm just going to right-click, copy this. So I have some text on the clipboard now. Yes, I could have included a graphic, but I did not this time. So come up here to create, say, PDF from clipboard. And it takes a little bit, boom, there it is, done. That's all it takes. I thought that was pretty cool. So here, let's see, another way we can do that is to create a PDF from a web page. And actually, I don't want that one. Let's use this. I very, very strongly recommend doing a copy of the URL rather than typing it. That way you get everything accurate. You avoid the dreaded fuzzy finger or typos. Now, how many websites usually have multiple pages and levels? How much do you want to include? Be careful about the entire site. I do not recommend that if you have the time. So here with this, and one thing I was practicing for this, I actually did this twice with our site, awesomewgroup.com. I started with one level, then I'll show you in a minute. There's a way you can add to it. Oh shoot, I need the home page, and I need that one other page who's a child page of it. And I said, yeah, just get the second level, and that's all. Here's the thing, if you do that, do those pages have any links to external sites? If they do, and you want to be sure you're staying only on your site, which I did not check, stay on the same server. Oops. So instead of having about 5 pages to get the full AwesomeAdobeUserGroup.com website, I came up with about 120 or so because we have links to externals. Okay, and then likewise, same path, all of that if you wish. These are not important right now because I'm only doing the one site, one level. Okay, I always have to look and see what are settings. I always click if I see more or advanced, what's there? Because I want to know. So here, for your conversion settings, HTML. So with that one, it's almost crazy how detailed you can get with this. Retain page background, underline links, convert images, etc. All that stuff you can choose. Place header and footers on your page. Here's one thing I would recommend, accessibility-wise, PDF tags. That is for accessibility. And Mary, jump in, and anybody else who is familiar with accessibility, please jump in anytime here. Okay, page layout. Well, do you want this letter size, legal or what? Portrait or landscape? All of that. Scale wide contents to fit. Some web pages are pretty wide. Switch to landscape if scaled smaller than a certain percentage. I'll just leave the defaults. Let's say create. And that does take a little bit, though.
Can you do some of those things when you do the combining? Because I've done where I've saved it as a PDF, and then I have several things saved as PDFs and want to combine them all, but I want to, like, sometimes the font all comes across at 8 point, and I'm having to go through all the documents and increase the size, something like that. Before you do a combined feature, can you modify any of those things, like borders and font size?
Oh, can you? Question is, can we, for the recording, can we modify if when you're combining?
Yeah, this is capturing a web page, but if
yes.
you had a bunch of PDFs and you were wanting to combine them.
It'd be best to do it up front. I don't think you can really when you're combining because you already have the PDF is already existing.
I'm doing it as a save from like a web when I'm looking at a web page.
Okay.
And then I do save as and I save it as a PDF.
From the website itself?
From for example, it was like online lessons. So I'm trying to capture them or even if it's an article I like online, and then I'll try to capture it rather than I'll save it as a PDF.
Yeah.
And then I'll go in and combine all of it. There's multiple pages, I'll combine them all and stuff. But when it saves them, it's saving them in pretty small font sizes sometimes.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. Remind me when we get, let's take a look at that. Remind me when we get to the combining part, which we'll do before too long. Okay. Here, because I don't remember seeing that feature.
There's not many things you can pick when you do save as PDF. It just saves it as PDF as best it can.
But that's but that's not from Acrobat Pro, or is it?
That's from your print dialog.
Okay, so from the print dialog.
Rather than going to print, I go to save as PDF.
Okay, so that's what you're doing.
But there's no controls for anything
correct.
there.
But then, okay. So
but then later.
Do you not have Acrobat Pro?
No, I do.
Okay. Well, you might want to just try it there from doing it this way instead, and compare the differences instead of file print. Yeah, try this and see what it does. That may give you a little better result. Okay, so here is the actual page, and I didn't show you. Let me just scroll down here. This full. So we're coming. It goes down fairly far, and this is up to last December. Just a monthly meetings, that's all on this page. With information, and this was 12 pages for print for all of this. Looks pretty good. It did capture everything here pretty much. Come back to the full page view here, just as is. So, not bad. The short answer, it depends. And And that's an interesting, yeah, that's a good question. There is, and let me continue with this, but I'll go through and let me just show you. Here is that, where the heck is it? There is a full accessibility listing, and there's a whole list of things which you can do. So a lot of that is, it depends based on how well, or basically how accessible is the original website up front. One very simple thing, for example, get back up to the top here, is graphics. Do they have what's called alt text tags? So that because the screen reader is actually reading everything, you don't want it to read just picture. Something, what is it? All sorts of stuff and more. And now I don't need that. Come back here and back into Acrobat. Okay, so that's one. Let's see. Okay. Another way we can create is through scanning. So here.
Since you're mentioning scanning, while you've been doing this, I downloaded the Adobe Scan, scanned the pages of it was in my purse, and also downloaded and installed Adobe Reader and had a look at it. So it was pretty fun. That's worth the price of admission today for me anyway.
Oops. Okay, cool. So you're able to scan just something in your purse.
I still have a program for.
Oh, okay. Just not the contents of your purse. A brochure. Gotcha. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Yeah, it does. It does. Pretty good. Okay, so here's a scan. This is a TIFF. It's a graphic file format, tagged image file format. I'm just going to create a scan from this. So this is the original. Okay, there's a PDF. Now, if you'll notice here, I'm just clicking and I want to select that. I typically, if you double click in most document programs like Word, Outlook, etc., you can double click to select a word. I can't here. This is an image still. It's not set up. Doesn't recognize the text. So here, let me close that one. Sure. Oh, whatever. Let me just pull that up. Okay. Oh, heck. Let me just go for it. I'm not going to worry with that for right now. Okay. Okay, so for this, I've opened it. I want to then enhance the scan. So here, from this, do all of these things. Now the enhance, what's the source? Well, it's a scanned document, not a camera image. That camera image is good for smartphones and tablets here. For here, recognize text in this file, we'll go for that first. Just choose recognize. Okay, again, settings. Here's where you're getting into some of the more detailed stuff. If you can, and what I very strongly recommend when you're digging down into stuff, if you don't understand what all of the options or choices are, and honestly often I don't, go with the defaults. Because the people who build these programs, they know a heck of a lot more than the rest of us do, and so they're just making it easy for us. But here, for example, this output searchable image, that's one I was curious about. There's a couple of choices here. I did a little research on that one. Let's see. The searchable image, I'm just going to start scanning this as I talk about it here. It'll take a couple seconds there. The searchable image keeps the original image and basically it places an invisible text layer on top of it. That way you can search it and so forth, edit it, double click, there it is. Boom. I can do whatever I want to with all of this. Now, let's see, recognize text. Are there any problems here? And there should be, yes. Possible suspects have been highlighted. It doesn't recognize this. This part right here, no surprise handwriting. So here, let's see with that one. Okay, here, recognized as, I just typed the correction. January 26, accept. Well, okay, and this, that looks like it's just a comma. And then 2008. Well, come on. Helps if I can find the keyboard. The numbers on it. Good. Then just goes on through. I'm not, but that's the idea for all going all the way through. Sometimes really, what's that one trade is okay. If, yeah, accept. So things like that. Okay, well, Sarah and so we're good. Pretty much with that. I'm not going to do every single thing here, but so if you do have handwriting in a scanned document, you can correct that as well. All that one. Correct. True. Correct. As far as you can replace it, you're not making changes to the actual content here. You're making it readable and recognizable.
So how did you do that again? Like this
So right here, there is a, well, yeah, you begin by the drop down, correct recognized text.
Okay.
And then it gives you these red boxes of the questionable areas.
Okay.
And right here, it shows you what it sees, and here's what it thinks it is.
And you either accept it or you don't.
And then here, that no, red, dot, I don't know. Close enough for me.
So you could type it in there and then
Yeah.
just like you're doing text.
And it will recognize that, yeah.
Okay. And now it doesn't change the look of it, but it's going to change when it interprets it and
Yeah.
reproduces it. It will use what
You could, it will, yeah, yes.
So now if you search for red dot, it'll find that handwritten one.
Let's see.
As well as any text one.
Well, okay, not.
It hasn't, you haven't recreated it yet, though.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't take it to this point as far as searching for it again, but okay, I did save it. So here, let's see, I'll do a find. Sarah, well, it picked a boom. There it did. Good. So once I saved it and clarify red dot, okay, not, well, yes. Yeah, exactly what I was going to do. Referred, what?
Got red in.
Oh, that's right, it does at the end.
Huh.
Previous. Curious. That's interesting. Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no, I
Can you
guess.
go back and look at what you typed in there for red dot? Maybe there's a typo or
Let's
something.
see. Okay. Oh, here. Shoot, was that one? Review recognized text. There we go.
Oh, okay. And it did change it, showing it changed.
But see, you did Sarah lowercase there, and the other one is red dot.
Oh,
So try
also uppercase.
Okay, try typing it in uppercase.
So it is case sensitive then.
Maybe. Well, shoot, no.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You've got the underscores before, is it reading them together? Maybe the underscores before.
Maybe so. I'm not sure. But let me show you something else here along this. Edit, advanced, because this is kind of cool also. I mean, good segue into it, the advanced search here. So say in the current doc, actually, I need to make this a little bigger so I can read a little bit more of
It's
what
doing all these things.
Global
and still
Corporation.
It hasn't changed it to text at all still.
Remember, yeah, it has that invisible text layer on top of it for this. Okay, so here, global. I have a whole words only. There should be something there, be multiple. Here, okay, right now this global corporation just came up with one search result. You could enter, well, shoot, let me try, find a word in the current document. Just let's show it up over here. Okay, here we go, new search. Just do and search, because I just want to get a bunch of occurrences here. So you see there's a lot of them. Get the whole context of it, where it is, the collapsed file paths. Let's see, all of those. One of the cool things here is you can save the search results on this advanced, either as a PDF or as a CSV, which is a comma separated variable. You can open it in a spreadsheet. So I thought that was kind of cool for this one. Okay, so that is on scanning, and actually there is, let's just keep going here because we're still talking about creating docs here. Get this thing out of the way. Another way is, and this is on Windows machines and Microsoft only, PDF Maker. If you're familiar, I'm going to guess some of y'all have seen this, if you have Acrobat Pro installed as well as Microsoft Office on Windows, not Macintosh, unfortunately, see the Acrobat up here. So for this one, okay, I really don't need to see the comments. So here, and this is a document that I use in one of the classes here. So, but here's the thing, converting this, who is familiar with what styles are? Pretty much everyone. Just basically it's formatting. What font, size, color, all sorts of stuff do you want is available. So here, if you set up in the original document the styles, so for example here, this local needs assessment, heading 1, background and goals, heading 2, etc. There's some, here we go, it should be heading 3, on and on, like that. You set those up as styles. You can translate those and use those when you convert to Acrobat Pro. So that's just a little bit of a quick look at the doc, just scrolling through here, all sorts of things.
Don't get to make the point that if you are wanting to come out with an accessible PDF document, do everything you can in Word before you convert it to make it as accessible as possible. And that will greatly reduce your remediation time once you get a PDF.
Good point. So just for the recording, do as much of this work as you can in Word, including for accessibility. You won't use all the styles, etc. Makes it, if you have to make it accessible later on in Acrobat, it really cuts down the work and the pain. So here I went into the Acrobat and chose preferences before creating PDF. Here's the, well, settings, the standard ones here. Standard settings, these are high quality print. Do you want that? You need smaller file size, etc. Or smallest file size. I'm just going to go with the standard. Then look at it. We can prompt for the name of the PDF if we so choose. This PDFA compliance, I pretty much ignore. That's for long-term document storage electronically. And there's PDF/X, which gets into graphics and compatibility, standardization, all that stuff. For details, see the Acrobat help. Okay, here, optionally, if you wish, you can attach the source file, the original doc, spreadsheet, what have you here. I'm going to create bookmarks. We'll see what that does in a little bit. If there are any web links or other links, we'll add those. Definitely check enable accessibility and reflow with tagged PDF, and then I'm going to also enable advanced tagging. Coming on to security, do you want to require a password to open the doc? and or to restrict editing and printing. We'll take a look at how to do that in a little bit here. But this is where you can set it during the conversion. Okay, for Word itself, other details, because Word does lots of stuff. You want to, these are just the defaults, converting footnotes and endnote links and so forth. I'll have that set. And then finally, bookmarks page. This is where you can tell Acrobat if you want to convert Word headings to bookmarks, which are clickable links to guide you through the doc, kind of like table of contents. Do you want to convert Word styles to bookmarks? Headings are those actually heading 1 through 9, the formal name heading. Styles would be anything else that happens to be in the doc, including customized ones that you've added. Also, there's a thing of Word bookmarks you can convert if you wish. I'll just leave this as the styles because that's all I'm interested in. So I click OK there. Those are all my settings. Now I'm going to say do it. Create the PDF. And I already have one there, so I'll just call this 2. It goes through and does the thing. Okay, so and I did click Show Details, so I can see what's going on, and it shows me as it's converting page by page. Other things we can do, now as far as this, just while that's working, there is a create PDF and run action. If you're familiar with other actions in programs like Photoshop, Illustrator, etc., it's the same idea. It's just step, things that you can do to set up or do repeatedly. Here with that, Acrobat has them as well. Here is the statement of work. So pretty cool. Gee, it looks good to me. Looks exactly like the original, and I don't need Word to open this. All I need is the free Acrobat Reader if I sent this to somebody. Typically, when you have Acrobat Reader, let me close the Word doc out, you'll have, you'll see it like this. You may not have all this stuff over on the right side, but over here, if I come up over here, I can expand, and there's this left side list of things I can do. Click on the top, those are page thumbnails. So I can move around and easily jump from page to page. Make that a little bigger. Okay, and see what those are. Look at that. If I had an attachment, it would be there. See, you can have layers in Acrobat, just like in Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, etc. If you wish. Or link them. Oh, interesting. I don't think you can link an image here. Normally, I'll show you how we can actually edit and insert text, but I believe that's strictly inserting embedding versus linking. Yeah, I'm going to come to that. I'm saving that for the last right now. This is the list of tags. This is for this little tag here. This is the accessibility. Again, we'll come back to that a little bit later on. But here, bookmarks from the styles, or the headings rather. So boom, here, what's the tactical support? Okay, come down here, click, boom. It's a real easy way of jumping through the document. Now imagine if you had a 50 or 500 page doc. Bookmarks would be real good, could be real handy. Now, here's a really cool thing which you can do, but here's the thing, people have to know about them to be able to use them. So if right now I am in Acrobat Pro, but just trust me, Reader works the same way here. The doc would look just like this in Reader. And if this is, and I actually had to do a job several years ago, I was a police department, a city outside Austin, nearby. They had a problem with their job application form for the police cadets. I'll talk about the details of the problem later, but the thing here for right now, it was about 55, 60 pages for their application. tell me everything about you, all your job history, your family, your education, your military, your financial, everything. So it was really long, and you just open it, it would come up to the very first page, and that's it. And there's no way of knowing, well, okay, I'm going to do this much of my job history, but I need to stop, save this, which I could not at the time, find the other detail, then come back, and where the heck do I pick up? I added bookmarks, but how do you know they're there? Well, you can set them up. File, properties. For this document, initial view, bookmarks, panel, and page. Bunch of other choices here. That's the first thing. Now, you have some other choices, window options. Some of these are pretty self-explanatory, but here's one other thing that's pretty cool. You want to show the file name or the document title when you open it. You'll notice now it says this is the file name, SO2-doc2 PDF, whatever. I'm changing it to document title. Well, what's the document title? Right here, statement of work for whatever, Meridian. I don't think I spelled that right, but anyhow. Author, so for the description you have all this. Metadata, you can search as you wish. Now, for security, if you wish, of course this one has none, here's where you can set the different levels of security. For this one, I'm just going to talk about password security, time permitting maybe at the very end, but again, there's a lot of good information on the Adobe website for that. We have the choice of requiring a password to open the document or to restrict the editing. So here, if I choose to restrict editing, and you can do that without having a password to open it, definitely. It makes sense. Do you want to allow printing? If so, lower high res. And what kind of changes do you want the users to be able to make? Maybe somebody else has Acrobat Pro and they can go in there and do who knows what. If you want to prevent that, you can choose this, any of those. So I'm not going to go in there and actually set the password. That's just the usual thing. Type a password, type it again, and write it down so you don't lose it. Okay, so we have that. Just cancel out of there. Let's see. Custom, just more details, and likewise advanced. You just get into a lot of, you can do a lot of stuff. That's the short version here. Okay, so I clicked OK, and then I'm going to save this. And there we go. We'll close it and go in and reopen it. Boom, there it is with those bookmarks open. So in Acrobat Reader, it looks exactly like this. That way your readers or users will see that, oh, there they are. I'm just interested in processing and payment. Jump right to it. So pretty cool and handy with that one. That's pretty much it for the, oh, I'm sorry, combining. For that. Let's see, if we want to combine documents for creating file, create the final way there, combine files into a single PDF, or there's a portfolio. The biggest difference there, if you have combined files into a single PDF, you can have really anything. You have a Word doc, a spreadsheet, and a PowerPoint slide deck. You combine, if you choose combine files into a single PDF, you end up with one PDF. The formatting for everything looks the same like the original, and it's just page 1 through whatever as one long document. PDF, it gets a little bit more. You can leave the, inside the PDF, they can remain as the original doc, XLS, etc. file formats. And the users will need to have the original programs, the Word, Spreadsheet, or Excel, etc. on their machines to work with them. So let's give that a try here say add files for this and combine. So I'll do, let's see, I'm just doing shift click to select those three. Choose here. And okay. Target folder, same. File naming, we'll keep the original file names. I could append or prepend something, but not. While that's working, does anybody here deal with legal documents like Bates numbering? No, probably not, but that's just something you can have fairly, that's also another way when you're numbering the pages, you can append or prepend something to them. And apparently that is a big issue and very important in the legal industry. I've never worked there, so I could tell you. Yeah, could be. Yes. Beyond that, even if you want to if you need to combine multiple documents and you need to say have different file names and so forth in them, it gives you allows you to be more specific in the page numbering beyond just even as it's the type the formatting of the numbering itself. Okay, good. So here we are. This is combined. Let's see. Yeah, case numbers and such for Bates. Exactly. Yeah, when you have really huge documents, that's worthwhile. Okay, so here, PDF Maker came in it's for a spreadsheet. This has 2 worksheet tabs. Which one do I want? Okay, I'll just go with the construction cost just for right now. Sure. With all of that, I'll just call that demo. And so here it is. Where did that go? Let me come back to that folder. Let's see. Was that it? Well, here, let me just, okay, here we go. I don't know, maybe I missed a step, but this is what it would look like at the very end. It creates what's called a binder. That is the default binder one. It's the default file name. So here, we could see here that clearly these first 4 pages were from one file. Then down here, here's this different files. They were all combined into one with that one. Yep, you sure can. Oh yeah, you can do a lot more with that. Let me show you also the portfolio here. I had the option here when I created the portfolio if I wanted to include the actual PDFs or just the original versions, and I said no, just keep the original formatting. So here, the very first one, this original doc was a PDF, and then here, so there is a spreadsheet. So here, if I want to really look at all the details, I have to open the document.
So it's kind of packaging all the different files together, but they're not, it's not combining them, it's just grouping them together, and then they can be accessed, but they have to be accessed by the apps that created them.
Exactly. Okay. And that's if you don't, you have the option of basically having your cake and eat it too, to where you can convert this to your packaging all together as the original formats, and then separately converting them to PDFs. Or what I did in this case was to simply package them all together. I can open this. I can make changes to this. The original is completely untouched. That here, if I come in and want to make some changes to this content, I can do that.
So packaging them all together, but keeping them as PDFs, converting them to PDFs, would still not create one entire PDF document. Would have separate individual PDF documents.
Well, no, this is one PDF, external, but then when you get in there, and you can do that in Reader, that's where you could, you would just see the original spreadsheet, slide deck, etc.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the difference if you did a PDF portfolio, but you converted them all to PDFs, how that
Okay.
would look in opening as opposed to combining them all, because it's converting all the pages to PDF in both
Okay.
cases. But what would be the exact difference between that when you view it in Reader? How would it be different?
Okay, I see what you mean there, and on the answer is I'll need to check on that one. I didn't really. Let's see, do real quick. Okay, here, PDF portfolio. So here, we'll do add, I'll just do a couple of them. Let's see, I use the spreadsheet and a slide deck here. Oh yeah, with this, here's another thing with this one, is that right here, because this is just a single spreadsheet thing for the most part, but here, click on that, you can see that there are, and see the pages, and for here, click on this one, okay, zoom in and see the details of it. Okay, click off of that. I can move things around. Let's see. Pretty sure I can reposition things, but here we go. Also there, okay, that's just this, but yeah, you can do a lot of just getting, here we go. Not much with that one. Okay. Now honestly, I've not done this portfolio part in a while.
But once you combine them, you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so create here and there. So with this,
That's keeping them in their original.
that's keeping them in the original. I thought, okay, portfolio. Oh shoot, here. Check my notes here.
It just seems like if you're not going to convert them to PDFs, so they're portable and people have to have that app, and what's the difference from just putting them in a zip file or something?
Yeah, I know.
You could, yeah.
What's the benefit of it? I don't see.
Okay, well with that one here, we see, oh.
PDF makes it portable.
Yeah, it's all together, really. That's one part of it with that one. Okay, so here just I'm pretty sure you can. Okay. But it does, okay. Okay, the advantages of the portfolio are just combining into one. You can add you don't have to convert to PDF. You can add and remove documents and edit individual files. That's a big thing. You can edit the individual ones over using the native apps there. And it will save the changes within the portfolio PDF. So it does not save it to the original.
So it makes a copy of the original, really. And
Yeah,
puts
it
in
does.
There, but you can modify it and edit it within its original app rather than, because sometimes when you do the PDF and then you're modifying it, it like breaks the things down in all different ways.
Yes.
Like text areas become broken down in different ways that you might not.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me try that one last time here. Create single file. Okay, add files and here we go. That's what I was missing earlier. Okay, we have these two. There we go. With this one, I neglected to click this little gear up here. You have the options. A couple more things again. Always enable accessibility and reflow. Add bookmarks. Save as PDF portfolio. Here's where it is. Convert all files to PDF when creating a portfolio. So I have those two here, the slide deck and the doc. Also the file size. If this is going to be an email attachment, you probably want it smaller versus you need final version high quality print. It should be bigger. I'll go with the default in the middle and then combine.
So maybe it's just a way of being able to create one PDF from multiple types of
Instead of having to
files
do them
rather than-
separately and then combine them.
Well, maybe the combine only works with PDF. Does the combined PDFs work only with PDFs? Maybe the portfolio.
But you're saying if you have all these named documents from different applications in this portfolio, you know, I'm saying, it seems to me that then you can just say create PDF rather than having to create.
You could just combine them all.
separate ones and then combine them. It might just save this.
Yeah, it depends on what your needs are. If you just want as a PDF, you have multiple docs, and you want other people to be able to see them, you need to see them together, you can create them all into one PDF.
You can still see the individual names of the PDFs.
Yeah, now, okay, now here it is. Here's the other way. This time I said to convert to PDF.
Right.
It's a portfolio again, portfolio 2, the default name. Here, there's this.
And are there multiple pages to that? If you put the multiple page in one of those files?
Yep, here it is.
But it only goes through the one until you click on the other PDF, and then so
Mhm.
it keeps them separate.
Yeah.
Basically.
It does.
Can you in the combine feature, can you do other types of formats combined other than just PDF, or is that only PDF?
Oh no, that's where, well, that is where, let's see, that's with the portfolio.
Right. So combined PDF is only PDF combining.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
You're really making me think here.
Or combined files, I guess.
Yeah, combining the files here with that one. Okay, so it's that one, okay. So you'll see that the difference between the simply combining multiple documents or files into a one PDF, it's just one from page 1 to whatever. And the other way you can, with a portfolio, you can either keep them as the original file formats where you need the Word, PowerPoint, Excel, what have you, Photoshop, to open them, or they're all converted to a PDF, as a portfolio, but as PDFs, so you don't need those, but the files themselves are kept intact. And you know that this much is the analysis, and then this is the actual slide deck. And that's in portfolio 1, so here. And here I double clicked on that and shows me down here, it is a total of 6 pages. And let's see here, also with this, okay, do I need to just save this guy first?
Usually I go into the Explorer too, and then find the files and then do combine into rather than through this tool in Acrobat.
Okay. We'll just call it PDF Portfolio 2, give it a different name, and close this guy. Done with that one.
But that one allows you to compress too.
Yeah. Absolutely, you can compress. So here, let's see. Oops, where is that? Should be right here. So then with this one. Okay, so then with this one. Okay, interesting. It looks like there are limits on what you can do once they're together. All of that. But if you have it just as a single PDF from start to finish, not a problem. Oh, let's see here. Let me backtrack a little bit for versions here. This is something that's newer in Acrobat. Let's see here. Is that you can compare versions here. Actually, let me do that on the comment section. When we get to that, but that's a fairly new feature. Just like in Word, for a long time you've been able to compare two versions of a document. You can now do that in Acrobat Pro as well. That's pretty good. Here, let's see. There's some footers. That was. So this one, if you'll okay, this does have a footer. If you'll notice down here on this particular document, all of that, but I can still go in and replace that if I want, or if I want, I can, okay. And up here on the top, this may not be the best one. Where's that one? Oh, sorry. Let me choose a different one that doesn't have any here. Oh, no, it's in the combine. Okay. So here, notice this is a 18-page document. It'd be good to have some headers and footers here for this. It actually does have the header up here. Middle Earth Internet 3, whatever, I guess that's page number and such. But then what we can do is okay, not in that one. Sometimes it takes me a minute to find what's where. Here we go. So for that one, header and footer, it's under the Edit Pages feature. We'll look at some of the other things here. So we're going to add the footer. It says already contains a header or footer. Would you like to replace with your heading? If you choose to add another one, we'll just say replace, because I'm going to strictly add a footer. I'm not even, okay, well, we'll see how that works. Down here, so we'll say, I'll just put something up there as an example. If you're new with spreadsheets at all, it's exactly the same thing for adding the content for headers and footers. You have the 3 sections. Over here you have your settings for the location, and then also the font and size. Then down here, before you insert page numbers or the date, it's always a good idea, click on the page number and date format. So you have your choice of variety of date formats here with that one, and then for the page number formats. So I always like to do the page 1 of N for total number of pages. You can choose the starting page number. And what pages do you want to apply this to? So I'm just going to do all pages here. Finally, I have to click up here and choose where do I want to insert page number. And it will choose whatever I had set over here. Then again, same thing with the date. I've already set the formatting, so I'll say insert date. And down here, that's how it appears. Now click OK. And there it is. So that is within the Edit PDF area. There's a lot of other things you can do with this, and this is one of the things I really love about it. There's the Bates numbering. Just take a quick look at that. Yeah, we'll leave it this file. Sure. Okay. I'll just say add new. I'm not going to actually get through it, but well, it's the same thing really. But you can, there we go. insert base number. So if you want to add a prefix or a suffix to the pages, I'll just do a little bit of both, and just so we exactly know what it is.
And that's where you said the case number would go?
Yeah, you can put a case number for that.
Prefix or suffix would be the case number.
Yeah, and see there, it shows over there it was overlapping a bit from the other one. So you just include that along with. Here we go. Okay, that went up in there. Cut, Control C, and paste. There we go. And you can do that for multiple files at one time if you wish or need to. So for that, oh boy, editing, adding, okay. Links, cropping, etc. Okay, for editing, if right here, this is essentially text frames or text boxes here. Partners. Whichever, it goes through, and you'll notice here that it's doing word wrap. And older versions of Acrobat Pro, specifically I think for version 10, it didn't do word wrap. So that was not fun if you had to do extensive editing here. Unfortunately, it does not go to the next page, but even so, or text grouping, as you see in here, that it's still a lot better than it used to be. So this is really very good. If you just need to do some editing, you don't have the original doc, you can. I'm just coming down here near the bottom. If I want to add some text, I can choose the default font using font options. Okay, sure. There it is. Adding a text box here. I do this a lot when I am copying where I'm using Acrobat to create a PDF from a web page, because I get lots of, I subscribe to a lot of places, I like their blog posts and such. I'll just actually create a PDF for local reference of their specific article. Then I always go back, copy the URL source, and I'll come down here and add the content here to paste it in, so I can always reference back. And especially if I'm going to be giving, let's say if I'm teaching class about Google AdWords, there's lots of good sources out there, and I'll just keep all those PDFs, and then I can send them to the students, make them available along with the original sources. So to me is a good way of doing it here. Okay, so I come up here, type whatever I want to. If I have images, I can certainly insert images there. Lots of other things. I can add watermarks, bookmarks. I can attach a file, on and on. A lot of stuff what I can do. Once you have something, I'm going to go back and choose Edit. I can just reposition it wherever I want to once it's there. So editing itself can be really worth a lot. Okay, cropping pages, that's an interesting one. That's if you need to make a page shorter. If for some reason simply scanned as legal size and you need to be letter size, you can work with that to make it a little bit shorter. Okay, don't need that one. Okay, how about fillable forms? Anybody interested in that? Okay, how to create interactive forms here. It's best to start from an existing document. Get the doc looking the way you want it, and then here, let's see, create. That is under prepare form. So I'm going to select a file. And here's some cool stuff you can do with this. Okay, we'll start with this feedback form. Okay, so start, boom. Here it is. We'll just take a quick look. Oh, shoot. Okay, I didn't want it to, well, actually, it's okay. It's actually already gone through and added these. Let me close that because I want to show you. Let's see here. Edit preferences. A lot of stuff you can set up right here. If you're familiar with any other Adobe products, the same thing. There's a lot of them. It's a whole long list of things you can work with, including there's a whole section, all of this on accessibility. Things which you can work with. That, for right now, I'm going to get down to forms. And let's see, where is it? Automatically detect form fields. That's why, boom, it went in there and did that automatically. The first time I went through this, it didn't. I was like, what the heck's going on? Should be a wizard that does this. That's why. You have to be sure that is checked for that. So now I'm going to go back and let's see, that was, I want to show you it first. And that was, what the heck? Forms. There we go. So I just opened it as a PDF right now, so you can see it first. This is just a flat PDF, and I'll zoom in here. And right now, it can't click anything. So with all of that, this is not very good for the users in Acrobat Reader. Here, notice also there's these three up there. Zoom back out to single page. Now I'm going to go back into the tools and say prepare form. Okay, and this document does not require signatures, so I'm leaving that unchecked. I could scan, and notice right down here, form field auto detection is on. That is what I want now. Since we've seen what the original looks like, that went through pretty fast. So there's all of these, and here I can always add or change the fillable fields up here. These are the various choices. Then over here on the, let's see, on the far right side, small screen, that it's showing these are the actual choices here. So let me zoom out a little bit. Notice here's each one of these. So there's the check boxes, and then here's radio buttons. The difference between them, a checkbox, when you have a group of checkboxes, that's where you can have more than one option selected. Radio button is either or, just like radio station, only one at a time. Comes from back when they had the original radio stations. Long ago, you had to actually push a button to select that one station. Some of us remember those days, and even how to change them. You have to pull it out and then push it in. Okay, review it. I'm going to do this, and I'm also going to check what's called the tab order, because just by pressing the tab key, this is good for most people in general. Hold on, Mary. And because lots of us will press tab to get from one to the next, and it's essential for accessibility to have the correct tab order. Well, here, okay, I'm down here. I would use the right arrow key to go across to choose the one I want. But okay, so here, and that's it. A couple of problems. It skipped this number 2, which had this yes, no. And then I would just click to edit to go back to edit mode instead of preview for testing. And then down here, it didn't detect those at all. Well, this is just text as far as Acrobat knows. It doesn't know that because there's no underline or anything else to indicate that should be something a user can fill out. It just ignored it. We'll get to those. But here, for this one, this yes, no, I'll just come up here and choose the radio button tool. And you can very clearly see when you have it, move over that, click the yes. take the step, it's optional, but it's really helpful, trust me on this, to name them appropriately. So this is on time. Only you see this. So just do it something, give it a name that makes sense. Now here, choice 1, yes. Now, radio buttons need at least 2 of them. That's the only requirement here. So I'm going to add another button and hover over the no. Again, same group name, and just say no. And click off, it's gone. We're good. Okay, so here,
I'm sorry, I missed what's the original program that created this document in Word.
oh, okay, this was already a PDF. It was probably created in Word. So now here, there are these 2. I'm in preview, so again, I'm going to do the tab order. What the heck? It skipped over it. There it is. Well, we need to fix the tab order.
Where do you fix tab order?
Right over here.
Oh, it's in one of those that you select there.
Over here, if you look, see right here is the on time. And I'll expand this. This screen is really small. It's on my desktop big screen. It's a lot easier, but anyhow. So I'll just collapse this. And let's see, okay. So this, okay. I just click on this one, drag it up. And that is, let's see, under operating system. So right here. And now there's on time.
That's also way easier than it used to be. The drag feature is more, in PDF, you weren't always able to do that.
Interesting. Maybe way long ago, but version like version 10 and 11, it worked pretty good. But anyhow, drum roll, because here, operating system, and there it is. It worked. And again, here or shift tab to get back, you just have to use your arrow keys for left and right arrow keys to move between them. So that fixed that. That's one thing over here. And okay, collapse page. Now here, this right now, I've ordered the tabs. Well, right now manually because I did add those, but you can also show alpha order, which I whatever. Personal preference, I prefer this, but anyhow, I guess there's times for the other. Now, here's something on this. I'm going to show you a couple of things, including something that can be a trick or a trap. And this, well, first things first, let me just get from here. Email address. Okay, here. So here, sure. Just call it email. And we'll look at all properties in a little bit here. But so for this, oh, we'll make it a little, come on guys, a little wider. I'm going to bring another one here. Okay, well, let's just call, this is also email, so we'll call it email again. And make it a little bigger. Any other feedback? Well, yeah, I want to give them a little more room. So here, I'm going to make it pretty big. But here's the thing, this is just a text box. Oh, I'll show you something else, but here, notice right now, these are all shaded fields. The catch to be aware of in Reader, it has the option of not showing these shaded areas. So if somebody in Reader opens this and they don't have the shading turned on to show the text, the entries where you can type, it's going to all look blank. Not very helpful. You'd actually have to tab to it to show it. Well, you can see right here, I just tab down to other feedback and...
Can you change the styling of some of them?
Yep. Exactly. So this is something what you want to do here. I'm going to, let's see, this one, I'm just going to do a right click, properties. You could double click as well. Okay. I'll call it feedback and a tooltip if you wish. Okay. You can add that here. Read only required if you wish. Appearance, border color. That's all you have to do. Make it to that. Okay. Now here,
If you do fill color, is that a default that it won't show any fill color on some readers? Or if you set it here, would it overwrite that? And
okay, well that's a different setting. But let's see here, and I've actually never even looked at that. Okay, let me choose a different color. So there in preview, interesting. There it is. Okay, when you click on it then, it changes to that color for the selection. Okay, so here with that one, back here to what I did with this, there's border color. Fill color, typically if you don't have, well, anyhow, just leave it like that. But here's the other important part for this particular one. Do you want them to be able to type multiple lines? You have to check under options and choose multi-line. Now you can rich text formatting, I've never worked with that. You can also limit the number of characters if you want them to write a book. Some people can get rather wordy. So again, we'll come here and test that and type something and press enter. Good, it works. Good. Okay. So now we'll come back here. Here's the other thing. I want to add borders to both of these, so I just did a click, shift, click to select both of them. I can click and drag either way. Again, so this is, it limits a little bit just because I have multiple selected, so I will add a border here. Other thing here, a little detail, is text. The font size is 12. You can make it auto. And with that, let's see. If you keep it at a specific font size and the user types too much text, it will just scroll off, assuming you've not restricted the number of characters. So you won't be able to see everything. If you say auto, it will keep shrinking the size of the text until it all stays displayed. So you can end up, so for example, here, nope, here, properties, I'll do this one as auto, and come back preview here. And the other one would just say, oh, look at that. Yep, there is. It means there's more there. But look at that. I only typed in one of them. Okay, so here. Oh. Bingo. That's the trick and the trap. Whoops, did I lose that? That's what you have to do. A lot of people, and that's what got me that one job for that non-Austin Police Department. Okay, here we go. Is because, again, they had about a 60-page document, and on page 2 and page, I don't know, 10, when somebody typed in address where it said address on page 2, it would show up on page 10. When they go to page 10 and change it, it would change it on page 2.
Well, that's handy.
If you want it to happen,
Yeah,
that could be very helpful. Otherwise, it's what the bleep is going on. Well, look here, email #0, email #1. Go back properties. I could have just said rename, but what the heck? And email alt, whatever. So now I come back and preview. Boom. Once you understand this, it's super simple to fix. But if you don't, it can drive you bonkers.
So every field has to have an
Unique.
original unique.
Yes.
Unless you really want them.
Yeah.
Say you're a doctor's office or.
Well, yeah, or it could be in the heading.
Every single page
You want the patient's name. Yes.
I have a comment for you on this. This is a programming thing that I did one of these for a client who wanted calculations.
Mm-hmm.
Farther than what you could have in there. So those field names are what we use for the calculations.
Thank you.
I
Perfect.
use JavaScript.
Okay. That's going to be, yeah, exactly.
So if anyone has
Calculations.
questions about that,
Well, I'm going to cover that, so, as well. And I'll cover that in a minute. It's in different form, but first off here, so this is good. You have the fillable form. Now here, that's, well, shoot, I want to give the user a chance to save it. So you add buttons here. Maybe save, print, submit the form as into an email, possibly. Okay, so here, it's a button. And by the way, you have, oh geez, I could spend the whole rest of the time talking about this, but we're going to run out. You can create drop downs for fillable. Let's say if this is for an internal form for your company, one of the things you want to capture is department. You have a specific list of departments. You can have those in a drop down and let the user just pick instead of typing and ending up with God knows what. For properties here, save, sure. That's internal. Appearance, let's say options, just to be different from what I put before. You can choose, you know, label only, button, button and label, whatever. But here, actions, this is what you have to do for it to work. Going to, okay, whoops, is that execute a menu item and add, save, well, save as, boom. There it is. We're good. If I preview, save form. There it is. Okay, same thing for print, but one other one here. How about make it a little bit bigger just for the heck of it. And let's go back to properties. Come on, submit. Options, again. Type submit for the label. Again, that's for the user. Actions. Here, we're going to choose submit a form. And I have to add it. Remember, just saying submit a form doesn't do it. Now, well, enter a URL. Okay, this is actually going to be an email address. So, and for that, it is, you have to do mail to : and then your email address. That is just what all browsers recognize as this is email, not a web page. And here I'll just choose the PDF complete document. Go from here, click OK, submit form, preview. Now we'll see what happens here. I only use webmail. So in other words, I don't have Outlook or any other email client on this machine. So here, interesting. This does allow me to use webmail. That I'm not sure why, but I found this as being inconsistent because I've done this pretty recently. Yes, it was. There's Acrobat Pro Document Cloud has been updated since, but sometimes this works. Sometimes it just chokes and says, "Where's your client? Where's your Outlook? Your other email client?" So be careful, and just remember, if you're going to be using this for outside people, like outside your agency and such, this webmail feature may or may not work. And also, would your users know what it means? Because maybe it's my profession of trainer, but there's a lot of folks out there that, what's webmail? I use Outlook, I use Hotmail, or I use Yahoo Mail. What's webmail?
So it said it was putting it in your draft folder, so it's not actually sending it, it's going to put it in there and you have to go send it from there. You need to select one. Did you see that
Okay.
below there? That was interesting.
Well, here, Now you can get in there and add it and so forth. And I've actually not gone all the way through because I don't, I just haven't had a need to.
Oh, since it didn't have anything to do, that's why it gave you that message.
Yeah.
But once you put in actual email address in it, then it will go there.
And we'll see this. And okay, of the selected account, and so then I'll have to log in and give it, find my, okay, and I'm not going to add my password right now. So.
But it's just sending it to your folder. You have to go in there and then send it.
Yeah.
Because it's going into the draft itself. It's not really sending it, it's just putting it in there so you can send it from there, right?
I think so. I believe so. And let's see. So that's with the webmail. That'd be another thing just to experiment with. But if it's from like Outlook, it's just going to take it and send it. I've had people do that in class where they'll send it to themselves, and yeah, there it is. Shows up. So that's just some of the quirks with the browser-based or webmail rather than this. Okay. One other thing to show you here, as usual, running about 5 times as much info as I needed. That there's another one. This is pretty cool as well. And then let me do this, and then the accessibility. But here, order stat. Here's the original. It's just, let's see, here has all, this is already an interactive form. It's fillable, but that's all. So prepare form, get back to this. We have all of the form fields are here. But then here, so obviously we know price times quantity is total cost. So I'm coming over here to the first total 1, total 0 area. Some additional things here you can, if you wish, you can format and control the data entry up to a point here. There's always limits. Now here for validate, if it has to be within a specific range. Calculate. Value is the product of the following fields. Click pick. And let's see, price 0 and quantity 0. Quantity 0 and price 0. Then you can go through, do that, all of them. I'm not going to do the time for that one. Close. You have, okay, type of payment. Let's see, I'm pretty sure okay, anyhow, we come down here to order total again, properties. Value is the sum of the following fields, and I'll just do a couple of totals here, even though I haven't really added anything else here. Preview, and boom, there they, so here's this. Let's see, 10, 20, and since I tab off, there's 200. Boom. Now here's an example of that drop down. So Tina, is this kind of what you were doing?
Yeah, sure. And they wanted something beyond some. You can do cut and some, but they wanted actions and they wanted.
It could get more complex, yeah.
That custom one probably, huh?
Yeah, custom calculation scripts, simplified field notation, all that, yeah. The other things are just in general on some of these, there's required. So if you absolutely force them to fill it out, yeah, there's required option as well.
Do they have the thing, there's something you can put in there where it has to have a certain format or it doesn't recognize it as an email address or a phone number based on how many characters and
format?
Yeah, is there something like that with it? Well, did it to make sure it's a valid email or a valid phone number?
For a valid,
yeah.
Let's see, date, time, special. There's some of these here.
Okay, so if you select like phone number there or the one with the zip code, then it's going to make sure they have to put the zip code in or it has to be a phone number, it won't work. Okay.
And custom, that would be getting into scripting. You can use JavaScript. Hello, Tina. That's not me. And such. Yeah. I'm a designer, not a developer. Very much so. Okay, yeah, right. Artistic.
You gotta get the hair toss in there.
Okay, let me jump over to the accessibility part. Exporting, you can export to a lot of different formats, I'll just say that, and it works out pretty well. There's also, you have a lot of control over the, let's see, I'm going to do this one first. Pull that up, and just let me point out, without getting into long-winded explanations here, print production, pre-flighting, if you're familiar with InDesign, things like that, you could set things to check for. For example, you want the print colors, the print version of color CMYK, not the on it monitor or online based RGB, red, green, blue, things like that. Pre-flight, all sorts of things. A lot of stuff you can do with this. Page boxes, that's where you can, if you have a page that's legal, you need to be lettered, crop it off. Printer marks, hairlines, even things like the ink manager, trap presets gets into the different colors if you're having conflicts, overlapping colors, all sorts of things that I never use, so I'm not that familiar with.
Overprint, knock out.
Yeah, all that, all sorts of things. So that is print production. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. You can do that. PDFX, that's with the graphics formats and being sure that it meets the graphics standards, including for international. Flattener preview, again, getting into your, oh golly, transparency. Oh, geez, on and on. But back here to accessibility. So for this, again, particularly for vision impaired people, screen readers, you're going to hear the page, not see the page. There's so many things with that. Lots of documents ideally will be tagged so you can work with them. Let's see here. Okay, here. Here's a lot of good over here on the right side. The accessibility, the setup assistant. Okay, we'll set all accessibility options, use recommended settings. Next. This is a good one for starting with things. Mary, if you jump in here, please, since you probably do this a lot more than I do. Various choices with all of this. And for a reading order from document, it's not always a simple case of top to bottom, left to right. Things like that. If you have multiple columns, depends on the document formatting. Things like that, or tag documents. Then how much you want to read and all that. Okay. Things like that. Here are the tags, for example. Everything is tagged here. Notice, and I know this is pretty small, but I want the whole thing on the screen. So this this is one tag here. Get down here. Oh boy, there's lots of stuff. This is what Cornelius really dug into in his accessibility for that one tag annotation. Properties, here we go. With all of these, there's a title tag, has the content, color, all sorts of things which you can get into with this. So, which tags? Here's this whole section is tagged. Another blank title. Here's a table. Get into details. There's lots to learn about just how do you read a table? Should you go down, go across, or what? Things that make sense. Also, then here, this is an image. Does it have any alt text? Does it need alt text? Or is it eye candy as a way, in other words, where a screen reader doesn't have to discover it, doesn't have to mention it? With that one. Here, let's see. Here, let's just try a full check, see how this document works. I'm going to create an accessibility report here. Put it in the same file or same folder here. Oh heck, I'll just leave it where it is. Users down or whatever. So we'll do all the pages, which is just one. Just check everything and show and start checking. And here it is. Shows there are 3 issues in this document. A little bit of everything is shown here. All these are passed. It is tagged, which is good. We'll have to check the logical reading order manually here. This document does not have a title. File, properties, description. Well, it actually does here. I'm not sure where that came from then.
Is it the title tag it's referring to?
There is a title tag.
Because it looked like the title tag had either a class or an ID on it or something, because it wasn't just title.
Okay, that could be.
Different. So it didn't realize it.
Okay, so here, I don't know about this one itself. I am kind of rusty on some of these details because I've not worked with them lately, but this should have worked as the title, I would have thought. That is really metadata, that's where you find it, right here. There it is. So I would question this one. Anyhow, color contrast, that's definitely something else for accessibility. For people with poor vision, they need good contrast.
I'll mention here this great little free tool from the Paciello group called Color Contrast Analyzer.
Color Contrast Analyzer from the Paciello group, yeah.
And I believe color is spelled in the
C-O-L-O-U-R.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Free tool is very useful.
Check again, and it passed. There. Just do a right click on it, and then check again, or skip rule, explain. And that will, there we go. So here, when I did a right click and chose explain, gets you to their web page. And this has some pretty good content here for all of this. Also, by the way, there is on LinkedIn, there is an accessible PDF discussion group. So that's something y'all might want to consider if having accessible PDFs is important. Go to LinkedIn and join that accessible PDF discussion group. Okay, so we've gone through this. Let's see here. I'm doing that, and let me just show one other briefly here because we're almost out of time. Is this particular document does not have any tags. So for example, here, no tags available. Yes. Do as much as you can in Word in the source document. Absolutely. Most definitely here. Okay, so auto tag doc, boom, it's going to come up, and so here, oh come on guys, go through that. Here we go. If you want to get into the touch up the reading order, something else that you can see here that you can work with for the accessibility. Notice here this one figure, there is no alt text for it. So I can edit alt text. What is this image all about? You either add some alt text, or you could just say you don't need it at all. If that one is there. In this case, I'll just
describe, you know, man standing in front of green trees. Use something that will convey what the image actually wants to convey to the user. It's like, man sheltering from rain. Is better than men in a red coat, blue shoes, on a sidewalk, under a tree, with rain falling.
Thank
Try to
you.
think about what
Show the
really
purpose.
useful to the person who's going to be carrying it in the screen reader.
Yeah, absolutely. Show the use the purpose, not just a description of what it is, like Mary said. And you don't have to say image of. That's already there.
What if your image is a poster about an event that has a lot of information? There are ways to add long descriptions because a lot of things limit.
Long descriptions.
To like 124 or something, 128 or something with alt text, but there is a long description field, particularly if you really want to get into the weeds with it. There's something called ARIA,
Yeah.
which, well,
Accessible rich internet.
Presentation, it's on the presentation page.
Yeah.
I'll tell you more about that, but, there
Okay,
are
we
ways
have to end it for this. Hopefully that's been helpful.
If you look at the